Hey everyone, and welcome to this deep dive. It's
Yeah.
going to be all about AI in medical diagnosis. It's one of those things that everyone seems to be talking about, but not a lot of people really understand what's actually going on. So that's why we're here. We're going to do a deep dive. We're going to look at some of the latest research and some of the real-world applications of AI in diagnoses. And we've got some amazing sources to share with you from Google Health to some stuff from the SMA News, the American Heart Association, and even some stuff from the NIH. So we're really covering a lot of ground today. We're going to see how AI is being used to spot diseases early on, sometimes even
Mhm.
before there are any symptoms. And we're going to talk about how AI is helping doctors make more accurate diagnoses and maybe even predict things like heart attacks before they happen. So are you ready to jump in?
Let's do it.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So let's start with something that I found really fascinating when I was doing research for this. And that is AI's ability to diagnose diseases just by looking at images.
Yeah, it's pretty mind-blowing, right?
Totally.
I mean, think about it. AI can look at an X-ray, a CT scan, even a photo of your eye, and tell you if you have a certain disease. Like Google Health. They're doing some incredible work in this area.
Yeah, Google Health. They're using AI to look for all sorts of things.
All sorts. Skin conditions, diabetic retinopathy, lung cancer, breast cancer,
Wow.
even anemia. And get this, they've even developed an AI that can predict your risk of having a heart attack just by analyzing an image of your retina.
Wait a sec, hold on. You're telling me that they can predict a heart attack just by looking at your eye?
That's exactly what I'm saying. It sounds crazy, but it's true. And the implications of this are huge, especially when you think about access to healthcare. Imagine being able to diagnose someone with anemia just by taking a picture of their eye. No blood tests, no expensive equipment.
Yeah,
You could potentially screen millions of people in areas with limited healthcare resources.
that's amazing. It really is a game changer.
Absolutely.
But AI isn't just about looking at images, right? I
Yeah.
mean, there's a lot more to it than that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. AI can analyze all kinds of medical data, not just images.
So, like, what else can it do?
Well, for example, it can analyze blood tests, genetic data, even your medical records, to help doctors develop personalized treatment plans.
So you're saying that AI can help doctors move away from that one-size-fits-all approach to medicine
Uh-huh.
and instead tailor treatments to each patient's individual needs.
Exactly. There was this study in the UK where they used AI to predict how patients with rheumatoid arthritis would respond to different medications.
Interesting.
And you know what they found?
Right.
The AI was incredibly accurate at predicting which medications would work best for each patient.
Wow. So that means less trial and error, less risk of side effects, and people getting the right treatment faster.
Precisely. It's pretty amazing stuff.
It really is. But even with all of this potential, AI can't be perfect, right? There have to be some limitations.
Absolutely. AI is still a developing technology,
Yeah.
and there are definitely some challenges.
Like,
Well, one of the big ones is context AI systems can be really good at analyzing data, but they sometimes struggle to understand the bigger picture.
you mean like the patient's overall medical history and their individual circumstances?
Exactly. There was this study from the NIH where an AI system was asked to analyze images of skin lesions, and it misidentified two lesions as being separate conditions,
Hmm.
even though a human doctor would have immediately recognized that they were linked.
So what you're saying is that even though AI can process huge amounts of data, it still needs that human element to make sure that the diagnosis makes sense in the context of the whole patient.
Exactly. It's like AI can be a really powerful tool, but it's not a replacement for a doctor's judgment and experience.
Right. It's more like AI is giving doctors a superpowered assistant to help them make better decisions.
I like that. A super-powered assistant. That's a great way to put it.
So it's really about collaboration, right? Working together, human and AI, to get the best possible outcome for the patient.
Absolutely. It's about leveraging the strengths of both to improve patient care.
That makes a lot of sense. But I know there's also a lot of talk about the ethical side of AI in healthcare. Like, what about data privacy and the potential for bias in algorithms?
Yeah, those are really important issues, and I think we should definitely dive into those, but maybe we should save that for the next part of our deep dive.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot of ground already, so let's just recap for a second. We've seen how AI can analyze images, blood tests, genetic data, and even medical records to help doctors diagnose diseases earlier and more accurately. And we've talked about how AI can help develop personalized treatment plans that are tailored to each patient's individual needs. It's pretty incredible stuff, right?
It really is. AI is revolutionizing healthcare in so many ways.
And we're just getting started.
Exactly. The future of AI in medicine is incredibly exciting, and I think we're going to see even more amazing breakthroughs in the years to come.
I can't wait to see what the future holds. But for now, let's take a break and let all of this sink in. We'll be right back to continue our deep dive into the fascinating world of AI in medical diagnosis.
So before the break, we were talking about some of the amazing things that AI can do in medical diagnosis, but we also touched on some of the limitations, like how AI can sometimes struggle with context. But I'm curious what other areas of medicine are seeing promising developments with AI?
Well, one area that's really taking off is drug discovery.
Drug discovery.
Yeah. Imagine AI sifting through mountains of data to find molecules that could be effective against certain diseases.
That sounds like it could really speed up the process of developing new drugs.
Absolutely. It could shave years off the traditional drug development timeline. And not just that, it could help us find treatments for diseases that have been really hard to target with traditional methods.
So are scientists actually using AI for drug discovery right now? Oh, yeah, absolutely. There's a ton of research going on in this area right now. For instance, AI is being used to identify potential drug candidates for diseases like cancer and Alzheimer's.
So in the future, the medications that we take could be designed with the help of AI.
That's the idea. And it's not just about finding new drugs. AI can also help us understand how existing drugs work, like why some people respond better to certain medications than others.
So it's all about making treatment more personalized, really tailoring it to each individual patient.
Exactly. AI can analyze your genes, your medical history, your lifestyle, all of that to help doctors choose the best medication and the right dosage for you.
That's pretty amazing. It seems like AI is really changing the game when it comes to healthcare.
It really is. But as we said before, it's important to remember that AI is a tool, not a replacement for human expertise.
Right, right. And that brings us back to something we were discussing earlier, those limitations of AI. We talked about context, but are there any other things we need to be mindful of when it comes to AI and diagnosis?
Well, one thing to remember is that AI systems are trained on huge amounts of data, and the quality of that data is really important.
So if the data used to train the AI is biased in some way, then the AI's diagnoses might be biased too.
Exactly. That's why it's crucial to make sure that the data used to train AI systems is representative of the whole population.
I guess that makes sense. Like if you only show an AI pictures of apples, it might not be able to recognize an orange.
That's a great analogy. And it highlights another important point. AI systems can only learn from the data that they're given. They can't really think outside the box or make judgments based on common sense like a human doctor can.
So even though AI can process tons of information and find patterns that humans might miss, it's still limited by the data that's used to train it. And it doesn't have that same intuitive understanding that comes with human experience.
Right. AI can't replace a doctor's intuition or their ability to connect with a patient on a human level.
So it really is about finding the right balance, isn't it?
Yeah.
Using the strengths of both AI and human doctors to provide the best possible care.
Absolutely. It's not about humans versus machines. It's about working together to improve patient outcomes.
You know, it's fascinating to think about all of this. We're really just at the beginning of what's possible with AI in medicine.
It is pretty amazing. And as AI technology gets even better, I think we're going to see even more incredible breakthroughs in the years to come.
This deep dive has been a real eye-opener for me, that's for sure. We've covered so much ground, and I think it's time to take a moment to let everything sink in. But don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a flash to wrap up our exploration of AI in medical diagnoses. All right, we're back. And we've talked about so much already, AI analyzing images, personalizing treatments, even helping to discover new drugs.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground.
But there's one more thing I want to touch on before we wrap things up.
What's that?
It's AI's role in medical research.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
It's kind of like the behind-the-scenes stuff, right?
Yeah.
But it's super important.
Definitely. I mean, think about it. What if AI could analyze all that research data out there? All those studies and clinical trials.
Right.
And find connections that human researchers might miss.
Like patterns and trends that are hidden in all that data.
Exactly. AI could help us understand diseases in ways we never could before. It could point us towards new treatments, maybe even cures for diseases that have been around for centuries.
So it's like AI is this superpowered research assistant working tirelessly in the background.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. AI is already being used to identify potential targets for new drugs and to create models that predict how diseases might progress.
Wow. So AI is not just helping us treat diseases, it's helping us understand them better, too.
Exactly. And there's another really interesting thing about AI in research.
What's that?
It can help us avoid bias.
Bias. How's that?
While human researchers, even the best ones, can sometimes have unconscious biases that affect their work.